Good morning, everyone. I'm Vatsal Shah. Like last year, I am hosting Meet Magento India again, exactly after 368 days. You might have seen me in Meet Magento Singapore as well. I have been trusted for introducing you guys with all the speakers, and tomorrow afternoon, I will be also talking. We have interesting talks from morning till the evening. Don't miss many of them. Make sure you select the right ones which you want to attend, and then don't forget to network in the breaks or also while the session is going on. This event is possible because of our headline sponsors, platinum sponsors, silver sponsors, and all the people who are contributing to making this happen. Today, I'm going to start with Mr. Hashid. He is the CEO of Codila, and then he's going to talk about performance commerce. And what he's going to bring in the vision is how performance commerce should be the focus of the developer community such that their customer will. Hashid leads Codila, and he believes that it is India's strongest army of Magento warriors. Personally, I know him since many years now. And then I would say he is a rising star and is a great CEO under 30. Hashid. Uh,
Hi, Vatsal. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Vatsal, for that great introduction. I'm audible, right?
Yeah, and we are waiting for a great session about performance commerce. And there's a new jargon you are bringing in. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know when it's visible. It's Vatsal, all good? Vatsal, am I audible? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So hello again, everybody. What I meet Magento, right? I think the sudden thing that I remember is last time I think Vijay Golani asked on the stage, where do you want the next Meet Magento to be? And I remember shouting Bangalore, and many others were shouting many other cities. And here we are in front of our laptops. And I mean, the kind of things that has happened after the last Meet Magento, I think nobody could have ever imagined. Okay, so as Vatsal said, I'll be talking about a very, very simple concept called performance commerce, which I believe is very relevant in today's time with all this COVID happening and this boom in digital commerce. I feel that we as a development community, as a developer, we should evolve and basically relook at how we are approaching Magento development. Okay, so before I continue, let me introduce. Vatsal has already done the honors, but my name is Hashid Hameed. I am a Magento developer, at heart. Actually, I started my career as a developer, and now I happen to be the co-founder and CEO of Codila. Codila is a fast-growing Magento agency based in Bangalore, and you can see that we are solution partners at Magento, Adobe, ViewStorefront, and all that. So I think enough of my self-promotion. So let us understand basically what has happened to us from the last Meet Magento to this Meet Magento, right? So everything that we do has pretty much changed. The way we work, the way we shop, the way we connect with people, the way we learn, everything has changed. And we as developers in this digital commerce ecosystem can also see that our system has digital commerce. The segment has boomed like anything. Suddenly everybody wants to go online. Everybody wants to build a store. They want to win in e-commerce, and then there is sudden demand of developers in this community. We all are feeling that from last many months, right? So I think digital commerce is one of the top segments that has changed drastically because of what has happened in the last 1 year. So let us look at what exactly happened. So this is a chart that shows e-commerce penetration in the US. So you can see that from the early 2009, we are growing very gradually, and then there is COVID that strikes, and then it's a hockey stick. So studies say that we have achieved the growth that was supposed to happen in the next 5 years in 5 months. So essentially what has happened is that we all in the digital commerce segment has time traveled to 5 years, right? So when you do such a time travel, there is a lot of gap, that is going to happen in the system, which is what I'm trying to appeal to the developers to address and start embracing. So more on that in the upcoming slides. So let's look at the three primary stakeholders in our segment, in digital commerce segment. So one is the consumer, who basically, you know, uh, all the Magento websites, PWS apps that we build. End of the day, this consumer is going to, consume that. They are going to buy products and services from the platform that we build, right? Then there is business. So this could be our client if you're an agency, or it could be your company who is basically into e-commerce and selling their products or services. And then there is us as developers, right? Let's see what has happened to all the stakeholders. So as always, right, consumers want everything under the sun. Their demands are continuously growing, and they're becoming really, really impatient day by day. So these 3 points that you see on the left side, it's from a report by Google, Think with Google, which studies about consumer behavior. So consumers are saying, "Help me faster." Right. So whatever touch points they interact with any business, any brand, they want everything quick, because that's how we are, right? Look at us now. We are now doing this massive event that is happening in India too digitally, right? And we expect everything, whatever we interact, even on this platform, to be very, very fast. We want everything quickly. We don't have patience, right? And the second thing is know me better. So consumers are expecting that all these businesses, brands already know about them, their likes, their dislikes, and what they really want, even without them expressing. So this is the kind of expectation that consumers are putting forward to the businesses. And I mean, all this privacy things and happening in the recent times, maybe Facebooks and WhatsApps and YouTubes of the world have spoiled the consumers, right? Because they're constantly learning about us. And I mean, these platforms know us better than we know ourselves, right? So they already know us. If you open YouTube, the kind of videos that you want to see on YouTube pops up. If you open Facebook, you see what you want to see, right? So, so the thing is, consumers are forming habits here, and they expect this consistency to be there in all the digital touch points that they do in their daily lives. And the third thing is they want to be wowed every time. They don't want any mediocrity. Right? So even if it is physical stores, it's e-commerce, whatever they're doing, they want a consistent and really, really smooth experience. So consumers are, if you ask me, are successful in this time travel of 5 years, and they're already really, really advanced. Now, what are the businesses doing? So if you see, they don't really understand what's going on, right? Because if you leave all the big marketplaces and maybe the direct to consumer brands, B2C brands, which are internet first, most of them are, brick and mortar, or the traditional businesses, right? These guys, I mean, some of these guys thought, you know, they denied digital, they denied e-commerce. So they were very happy with, what was happening pre-COVID. I mean, all the stores were open, all the business was happening, and we said, yeah, e-commerce, it's there. It's not our cup of tea, right? So there is this group of guys, and there is another group of guys, who knew, okay, digital is the future, but they thought that they have a lot of time. It's anyway growing gradually. But now, since we have time traveled, there is this huge challenge put in front of them, and this huge demand of consumers that is put in front of them, and they really don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to win in this, right? But as you see, right, so they know that they want to succeed in e-commerce, but they really don't know what will get them there, right? And the primary reason for that is because digital is not in their DNA, right? So they are traditional people. Now the problem and the big gap is this. So us developers, what are we doing? So we are not doing anything. We are just enjoying our time, right? So we are not concerned about how COVID has affected businesses and how they are struggling. And and the irony is that these businesses rely on us as technology experts, as digital experts, to guide them to the success, right? But I mean, we are happily coding the same way that we used to earlier, and I mean, we are not even realizing, right? So this is where the big gap is. So when I say we, most of us are like this, okay? Because there is a culture that is set from the initial days of IT, that developers are like IT people, tech people, they only code. So anyway, I'll talk more about that in the later slides. So this is the gap that COVID has brought in front of the businesses, and it is our responsibility as developers to understand this and start embracing. So one thing that we all agree is that this is our time, right? We can really feel it. So the way this segment is booming, I'm sure that everybody in their daily work life is feeling it. But even though it is our time, this is our time to do it right. So now you may be wondering, so how is it applicable to us as Magento developers? Isn't this applicable to everybody in the digital space? Yes, it is applicable, but as Magento developers, it is more applicable to us. And the main reason is because Magento is really, really powerful, really, really flexible. So there is a possibility that it can become a double-edged sword. So it can, while it gives all the flexibility and power, if not done right, and I'm sure that most of you have already gone through this, it can hurt, right? So let's look at what is the reason. We all know this. So the main thing is it's so powerful and so flexible that you can customize it to anything that you want. I remember a line that we used to put in our previous codeler.com website. We used to have a phrase called we can convert Magento into a Barbie doll. And many customers basically found it amusing. So essentially what we're saying that we can do whatever you're asking for. Like you want to convert it to a marketplace or B2C platform or a B2B platform, you want to be an aggregator platform, you want to be subscription commerce, whatever you think, right? Because end of the day, each line of code is in the hands of us as developers, and all the customization is possible. Now the problem is that, so as we understand, right, we are dealing with businesses who don't know how to succeed in e-commerce, and 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 most of the times these businesses don't know what they have to do, right? So they dump all their wants, which they think will get them to success, onto us developers, right? And we happily take them. So we are like, okay, tell us what you want and we'll code it. Tell us what you want, we'll code it. And nobody is thinking whether it is actually contributing to success. Now, with Magento, also the additional problem is that the more you bloat Magento with unwanted stuff, what is going to happen is, performance is going to be a big problem, right? And end of the day, the business is going to look at Magento as a key blocker because they think that the platform is not able to perform. But if you see that there's a gap in what they asked us to do and how we took those requests. And the second point is that uh, there is a lot of power and flexibility, and it's also free, right? Open source version is free. And what does that mean? So that means that any one-man company, any guy on the street, or any sort of business can basically use Magento, build a store. They can try to code something on their themselves, or they can get some random developer maybe who's coding Magento for the first time, right? And they try to go take that to the public, right? Now, if it is not done the right way, again, Magento is going to basically look like a blocker to them, and eventually the blame is going to come to that as a platform, right? So this is where the concept of performance commerce comes, which is a concept that we have devised in Codeler, and we're seeing great results. I'll talk to you about that in the later slides. So let us look at what exactly it is. One of the dictionary meaning of performance is this: a task or operation seen in terms of how successfully it is performed. So it's not about whether you're performing it or not, is it how successful it is, right? So if you connect the dots, performance commerce, I put a trademark sign, it's not really a trademark, but just for the looks of it, right? So it is nothing but a development culture that keeps business success as the key focus. Now, it looks very simple, right? I mean, this is a very simple thing to say. You have to focus on what the client. Everybody talks this in every day, but we don't really, put inside our brain, and we don't really embrace it, and we don't really practice it in our daily life. So, what if we start doing that, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of magic that's going to be happening. So so I break down this performance commerce into three simple steps, and if you start doing this, it's going to make a lot of impact. So these are the three steps: understand success, know the full picture, and optimize the lever. So let's go one by one. So success, right? As I said earlier, so performance commerce, focuses on the business success. Now we have to define success. We have to sit down with our client or with our manager or whoever, right, whom we are reporting to, and we have to define what really is the success goal of this business. Why are they building a Magento site? Why are they coming into e-commerce, right? So I think 99% of the time, everybody comes to e-commerce for three things, right? Because it's a sales channel in the end of the day. So they want more customers, they want more orders, and they want more revenue. This is, if this happens, they'll be really happy with Magento as a platform, and they'll consider that as the finishing point, right? And then that is a success that defines. And there could be a lot of other businesses who look at other metrics, right? So this is something that we have to sit with the client and understand. So there could be some brands, who does not want customers orders. I mean, they just want a website for the sake of it. But anyway, for them, you don't need Magento, right? Because it's an overkill. You can use something very lightweight and all that. Now, second point is know the full picture. So this is really, really important. Most of you would have heard of all these things, but there is a big myth in our heads, right? So we as developers consider ourselves as just too technical, right? So anything that is very related to business, we think it's not our cup of tea. We really think that these are the marketers, the digital marketers have to do this, and these have to be taken care by the business people, right? But end of the day, let's realize what e-commerce is. E-commerce is not a piece of software, that is going to sit inside a big ERP platform of some company, right? This is a sales channel. It's a digitized sales channel. As my host Vatsal has spoken in one of his earlier talks, right? So it's a digitized sales channel. So businesses are using these channels to market their products so that consumers can buy, right? So that's all that it is. It's not a software that is put inside a rocket to do something, right? So it is very, very vital that we as developers have to understand the big picture, the full picture that is contributing to all this, to the success of businesses. And it's not just code. It's not just PHP or the line of code that you're writing. While we have to write all that, it's very, very vital that we understand all the other concepts that's contributing much, much more higher than just mere code. So these are some examples, right? User experience, right? So end of the day, as I said, it's consumers who's going to use our platform. So it's very, very important. Now SEO, analytics, conversion, even plain content, right? What kind of content goes, the content structure, let's say you're showing a product, how the structure is there. All these are very, very vital. And even plain consumer psychology. So when we as developers, we don't have to go in depth and be masters of all this, but we have to know always the critical parts of it. So once we know, the next time we get a request from a customer, we can reason with them, right? We can understand whether this is going to contribute to their success or not. So it's very vital that we know all this. To make it more simpler, what we can do is we can define a lot of levers that we have visibility on and we have access to. Correct. So, see, for example, these are some examples that I've given, but there could be a lot more levers, depending on what kind of business you're working on. But load time is a lever that is pretty much there for, all the customers, right? So if you're a backend developer, when you code, think of the best, not the best performing code. Think of implementing caching in the best way possible. If you're a front end developer, don't bloat your front end with a lot of JavaScript and JavaScript render blocking and recalculating CSS. Just do all these things, right? When you do all these things, it's going to have a lot of impact. Correct. So I'll give you an example. So we really think that marketers know all these things better than us, right? So we are working this. There's a fashion brand that we are working with. I don't want to name those guys. So the head of marketing. So we are actually building a new PWA for them, And we, the head of marketing showed us a reference of a website that she wanted us to build. Okay? And when we looked at the reference, right, she showed us a desktop website. So there was a lot of animations and everything that it was very beautiful, but a lot of moving parts and animations and all that. And she's the head of marketing of a big brand, correct? Uh, so so what we realize is, I mean, we know that as developers, if you put such complicated UI, then the users are going to have a problem, right? So then what we did was we reasoned with them. So we showed the top e-commerce players in their segment, okay, and we showed the reference website that she showed us. So one thing that we saw is all the top website in their segment had very simple, lightweight websites with just boxes of things. Like if you look at Mintra and all in India, it's all boxes, very, very lightweight. Like there is no animation they use anywhere. So then we asked the customer, see, you basically want to become these guys, or you want to become better than that, right? And none of these guys are using these kind of design. So why do you want to use? And we showed basically the traffic data of the reference website, and this brand was far away from that. They were having much more traffic, at least 4 times traffic more than these guys, right? So when we reasoned with them, they understood the point, and they really appreciate also. So as developers, you know, we understand the technical implications of everything that we do more than the e-commerce experts or the marketers. So that's the point. So similarly, we can look at other levers like time spent on the website, bounce rate, conversion rate. These are all domains of its own, but point is that we have to at least be aware of it and develop interest on it. Then, as I said, right, so reason with the client. So this is very, very important. So as developers, we've always lived this life, right? So the client asks something, or there is a requirement that comes from the team, we just happily go and code it. We don't ask any questions. So, and there could be multiple reasons, right? So more request that comes from the client, that means more number of hours that's going to be built. So why do you want to question that? Why do you want to put a blocker? But that's not how it is. If you start doing this, right, I'll tell you what kind of magic can happen. So this happened to me. And this is an extreme example. You don't have to go to this level, or maybe you can. So last year around this time, a guy, okay, who has an Instagram channel, who's selling some fashion clothes on through Instagram, reached out to me, and he was getting some 10-15 orders per day. He found Codeless profile on the Magento partner portal, and he absolutely had no idea about what Magento is, how to build a website and all that. So he reached out to me, and he said, I'm making around 10, 15, 20 orders per day, but I want to build my own site, right? And me and my sister is doing this. So can you help us? So he does not understand, okay, what Magento is and what the kind of cost and the complexity involved. And also, I understood this, and I asked him some questions, tried to understand his goals. And I told him, see, you don't even have to look at Magento. So you are now selling 10, 15 pieces of clothes online, and the kind of growth and the kind of investment that you're going to put is also very small, right? So if you go to a platform like Magento, there's nothing that basically you don't even need it. So I suggested him another cloud platform, a SaaS platform, which all of you might know. I told him, you go there, okay, and you start your e-commerce business there. And when you reach a certain level where you feel that that platform is not able to fulfill your wish list, or the kind of experience that you want to offer your customers is not happening, then you come to me. Okay, because right now, if you come to me, I can very well, do your site on Magento. I can bill you the dollars, right? But I'll not be providing you any value. So I told him this, and I forgot. So this is a usual conversation that happens whenever these kind of people reach out to me. And recently, last month, this guy called me and said, "Hello, Hashid, do you remember me? I contacted you last year, and you told me to make this website on it was Shopify. What I suggested, you make on Shopify, and I went and did it myself. Now, because of COVID, many things have changed. Now I'm getting around 900 orders per day, and I was like shocked. 10, 15 orders per day to 900 orders per day. Really, wow! Even some of the great brands in India is not getting it. Then he told me about a lot of things that he's not able to do in that platform. He wanted to give some sort of experiences, some sort of post order things that he wanted to do. So none of this was possible because Shopify, as we know, is a SaaS platform and it's very limited, right? So then I said, yeah, now you're talking. And now a platform like Magento Commerce Cloud, everything makes sense to you because it's giving that value back to you. So if you look at this example, right? So even though I might have lost, let's say X dollars by telling him to go away, end of the day, what happened was, end up getting maybe 10x or 20x of what I could have got as an agency, as a development company. And the kind of self-satisfaction that we have is also really high.
We have 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we also learned this the hard way actually. So we also built some great stores, and we used all the fantastic technology, built a lot of features, and there was a particular client that we were really proud of, and when the client went live, right, we figured out that most of the features that we built were not even used by the consumers, and eventually this business also shut down because they also did not know how to succeed in e-commerce. So this basically got us back to thinking on how we could have changed our approach, and that's how performance commerce was born in Codillar. And ever since we started embracing, we've seen tremendous results. Like with this fashion brand in India, Samyak, where we developed a PWA for them. So we looked at all the vitals and tried to improve that, and we saw tremendous results. These guys got 110% uptick in their organic traffic, which was very unexpected. This is a case study in Visto Fund also. And these guys are now spending half the amount they spent, half of the amount only they're spending now to get the same amount of traffic. Right. So, and then there is Aldo, which was like a massive success story, which was again published by Magento, where we were able to shoot their conversion up to 7 times from their legacy platform. So my appeal to the developer is this: see, Magento is a very powerful platform, and as the saying goes, right, with great power comes great responsibility. So it's time that we as developers in the digital commerce segment evolve ourselves and get ourselves more involved and more aligned with the business goals, so that not only Magento becomes the best e-commerce platform, but the best performing digital commerce platform. So that's it from my side. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, Hashid, it was great and insightful talks. You sounded like a saint. And I think that you are echoing the same what I have been discussing to the world. So it's very insightful that you should consult customer. It's important to say no, even though it is a sale. And then we have to understand holistic picture of the customer. Ultimately, commerce should win, not the code. That is amazing and nicely narrated. Thank you for your talk, and I hope people will remember this talk for a long time.
Thank you, Vatsal.
And as it is a keynote session, we don't have any Q&A. So you are safe.
Okay, I was expecting some questions. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Magento. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.